Look at this gorgeous LT4 going in a 70 Chevelle. This one's actually shipping out to a guy in St. Louis. His name is Andy. He wanted the power adder, which is an LT4 with a Brian Tooley setup. So that means we had to come up with a really good plan on how we're gonna handle that extra boost. This one has its own pulley that actually just handles the boost. That way we can run more boost at it. Let me show you another one with an LT4 that's got a whole different configuration. Check out that bad boy. Look how clean the engine bay is. I take so much pride in making these things absolutely gorgeous. Totally different runner kit on the front of it. Polished stainless steel. It's absolutely gorgeous, but you gotta make a plan, guys. And every car I buy it, before I buy it, when I get it, I try to make a plan, because when you don't, it can cost you a lot of money. Let's get rolling. This is gonna be a fun week here at Studio Hot Rods Restoration and Revelations. So yeah. Let's get started with this week's Restoration Revelations. Got a measuring stick. See how this one measures up. We're gonna cover 3 cars this week that all were being built or are being built, and they all had a plan, or did they? That's what's gonna make it very interesting. We're gonna start with this 1970 Chevelle Tuxedo Black that I bought about a week ago from a guy because it was finished and sitting in his garage for many, many years. Why? Good question. Here's the first clue. Look at this, drag radials. Okay, you could use drag radials on a car, but when you do use a drag radial in a car, you're probably never gonna wanna drive it in the rain because you can die. Number 2 thing he did was he actually put a mini tub in it. So as you can see up in this area here, the upper part of this body has been modified to handle a bigger tire. So these are a 315 millimeter wide tire, nice wide tire, looks great. So he has to put a mini tub in it, and he actually cut the frame right here, all the way back, all the way through here. Now, I'm gonna show you at our other building another chassis that is not cut, but remember what this looks like, kids. So let me show you this real quick. That's where the original chassis really went, but look at how close it is at the back to the tire, and look how far away it is in the front. So I'm covering 2 things at the same time. One, they cut it to make it thinner, so it actually will clear the tire, right? But the problem they had was when they made it thinner, this makes it all weaker, and they should have tied it together across the top, right about here. I call that my batwing bar. Again, I'll show it to you on another car that we're working on later in the episode, but remember this, kids. If you're gonna cut this back, you wanna tie the center section back together. All right, also this tire not being straight in here is because the rear end is crooked like that. Or is it like that? It's like wheels that way. It's like that. Okay, there we go. And if a car has a crooked rear end in it, it makes the car a dog track down the road. So instead of going straight, it's gonna go down the road like that. I don't think you want that. Let's keep moving forward in the car. He bought Hotchkiss, upper control arms, lower control arms, a strange rear end. That's an aluminum pig head. That's an expensive piece. He spent money on this car, but now is where it really bites the dust, okay? Because what you got here is you got the C-channel original chassis, which is very flexible. This thing will move, just as chassis will move like crazy. And we box these in. Again, I'm gonna show you later how that all comes together. But last but not least, this is the cross member that holds the transmission, and what it's doing is supporting the weight of the back of the transmission, and then the motor mounts are all the way up here. But having this big lever on here with conduit for a for a trans support. Look at this. Look how this thing moves. Check it out. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. This car is gonna feel like that motor is floating inside the car, and it's gonna be awful. Look at, I mean, I just wanna jump on it. Look at this. Crazy. Anyways, bad stuff. So the combination of those things, the guy kind of tapped out. Not that this motor's bad. It's a big block, and last but not least, it has no power steering. Driving a 70 Chevelle with a big block in front and no power steering is really bad. But why would you put tubs, mini tubs, big tires, drag radials, not box and handle a chassis, or have a wimpy little cross member for the trans? Bad idea, bad design. Let's hop over and take a look at the 57 Chevy about my own mistakes, and then we'll show you the right way. Now take a look at that. Who puts an independent rear suspension in a 1957 Chevy? Isn't that good looking? If you see the huge tire right here, we're setting up this. This is a 315. Again, very much similar to the size of the one that's on there, because we want to have a big tire. But if you notice, it's got full tread on it because I don't want to put somebody down the road in a drag radial, right? So now that we understand what kind of size of tires we want to put in the back of it, which I should have done a long time ago, like in 2015, I dug this out of my archives. I had it for a while and I'm like, I'm falling more in love with Chevys. You know, I always was kind of a Ford guy and I like a bunch of different cars, but as I focus more on these cars and the parts that are available, I'm really starting to fall more in love with the Chevys for some reason. So look at this. We did this core support and all the inner fender wells and stuff in this hammered style powder coating to make it look really sexy, and I put a big block in it. I painted the chassis. I don't really like the painted chassis so much anymore. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave that or not, but there's something that really is kind of a bad idea. I put a big block heavy motor coupled with an independent rear suspension. It's probably not a great combination, guys. You know why? The independent rear suspension, that thing is only rated for about 500 horsepower. So why in the world would I put a big, huge, heavy motor up front? It's a touring style rear end. And I got like a drag race with that's a Ramjet, that's a 502 Ramjet that you can get. It's a crate motor from GM. I came across a deal on it. I bought it a while ago. I put it in here and I don't think I had a great plan. What am I building? Really, what am I building? So back to the drawing board for me, and you know what? It's gonna cost me some money to fix it and correct it, but it kind of is what it is. I wanna shift gears for a second, no pun intended, on the design of the chassis we bought. So we're putting the thing together and we were measuring the camber on the wheels because we want to get the wheels just right, because I need to know the back spacing and details to actually put that together, right? Well, as we're doing it, we're noticing that the top hat of the shocks are crashing into the upper control arms and really not allowing this thing to move correctly. I called the manufacturer and said, what's the deal? What is it doing? They're like, well, instead of putting in your Viking shock this way, flip it over. And I'm like, flip it over? They're like, yeah, just flip it over. You just change the mounting hardware on it and put it up in there. Now you got your controller for your shock, you know, the compression on this thing, and this Viking shock pressed way up there. You'll never change it again. And I'm looking, I'm like, this is not a good design. So did the guys have a great plan when they built that chassis? I don't really think so. So I will probably have my lead fabricator go ahead and modify the upper control arms, but we're gonna pull that engine and transmission out of here and we're gonna go ahead and stuff probably an LT4. Why not? This body is gorgeous. It was dipped. We did all the body work and everything else. But again, plans are changing, right? So I'm going to suggest to you, before you buy a car, the number one thing you should do is figure out what is your plan. And this thing's going to be a great car when I'm done with it, but I am a bit back to the drawing board, and I'm not trying to tell you I'm that stupid, but that was kind of stupid. We're going to hop over to my other building and go look at the chassis that we're building, and I got a plan over there too. I'm building, one of the cars I'm building ain't one of the high-end cars because I didn't like some of the body work that was done on it. Not that it's bad, but it's just not up to the standard that I'm liking. But let me show you what I found, how we're going about doing it, and the differences, and how it's going to come out at the end. Because one car is built just to sell somebody a really nice quality car. I picked out a great green color for it yesterday, and we're going to make it a great driver, air conditioning, power steering, you know, small block. It's going to sound great, run great, drive great, but it's not going to be at the level that I'm going on these warranted cars. All right. I am not the best builder on the planet, but I do have some of the best guys, and I got way more ideas than I could ever produce, and I'm in the pursuit of being the best builder. I'm sure there's guys out there that do better than I am, but we are getting better every week and every day, and I'm hoping that some of the things that I'm teaching you or showing you about my mistakes or struggles of the past make sense to you so you can have a better plan on your cars. Come on, I'll show you the two other cars that we're building. So here we are sitting in front of the Survivor car that we took apart a couple episodes ago, or an episode ago. A lot of people beat me up for taking apart the Survivor car, but a lot of the parts on that car were really, really nice. So I'm taking the best parts off of Survivor chevelle, Malibu, right? Putting it together because I could keep the cost down and give somebody a really nice, clean, beautiful car that's gonna have a fresh paint job on it. It's gonna have a small block in it, working air conditioning, all the things, power steering, power brakes, all that stuff is gonna be fresh on the car. This chassis came in from another car, and rather than going crazy and boxing it up, putting it all together, we decided to buy new upper and lower control arms, disc brake conversion. I'm using the original 10 bolt that's in the back of it, and the gear for now. Now, if somebody wants to change it, you can change it yourself if you want to, but we're gonna put together a gorgeous car. It's gonna be dark green with a black stripe. It's gonna have a Malibu dash, and it's gonna have a recovered green bench seat. Somebody's gonna love this car. If you're looking for a quality car, this is a great quality car for somebody that's gonna fall in love with it. Over there, you can see Mario's working on that car. We're prepping it to do the underside of the car. It's gonna be an epoxy, and then we use a really thin Raptor liner to seal it all up. It's gonna be a great car. Is it, you know, $160,000, $200,000 like my brand new motor, brand new transmission? No, actually, I'm even using the wiring that I got off the Malibu because it was in great shape. Why would you not? This thing's gonna come together and be a gorgeous car that somebody's gonna be able to enjoy and run and drive. That's my plan. It's pretty simple, isn't it? And let me show you how we address the chassis rather than that mini tub version that's at the other shop, and how the chassis look when they're raw and how they look when they're finished. I already know what motor's going in it, what transmission. Come on, let me walk you through it. It's solid. Remember I talked about the bar in the back of it and how you would brace it all together? This actually has that bar carrying it in, and if you look here, it's got multiple adjustment points. Can you see that? Where you can actually change the angle of the shock, which effectively changes the spring rate of the shock. So different driving situations, you can make it be stiffer, like if you want to kind of go faster on the corners, that kind of stuff. Or you can actually put it in, make it a little bit softer, it'll get a little better traction, it'll launch a little bit faster. Anyways, remember they skinnied up this part of the frame rail? See how this is like straight now versus the other one that's curved? That's skinny all the way through here, and then it goes back out right here. This is still maintaining this. Now, there's no reason to mini tub this car, and there's no reason to modify this chassis because I'm gonna put 500-600 horsepower into it, and the rear tires are your relief valve. Anyways, this is all boxed up and reinforced. I've got a huge cross member that we build that's part of the structure of the center of the car. This thing looks like it was built by an iron worker, and it should be part of a building somewhere, doesn't it? This is a really substantially strong cross member. Again, go back to the car that I showed you earlier where I was stamping on it. You saw it moving all over. This ain't going anywhere. So all this support structure, the hoop to hoop in the back, all the support structure runs from the frame horn in the front all the way to the torque box in the back, and then we put all the superstructure in it to firm it up and shape it up. So now this is a great foundation to build a car that I can put a warranty on. Man, I take a lot of pride in building a quality car for our customers. This is about the best we can do with this OEM chassis, and I'm excited because I think we got a great plan for this car, and it's going to be an epic build on our next one, whether it's an LT4 or an LS3. This is actually made for an LS3 already with a 6L80E transmission. That's why that cross member is there. Anyways, wrapping it up, the best part of the episode is I like to go to the Bible and read to you guys some of the things that we're learning about it. I started in Bible study about 6 years ago, and it's changed my life. It's a wonderful life. Actually, it's Christmas. I want to share something really cool with you, how it speaks to my heart. And then what's really cool is I've had actually guys show up at the Bible study we do on Tuesdays, Tuesday morning, 7 o'clock. If you're local, you want to come. You know, JJ, I know who you are. He showed up this week. And there's been messages and communication. If you guys need a Bible, reach out to me. Please do. Anyways, let's go to the Word and see what this wonderful life is all about. All right, here comes the best part of the episode. Thanks for tuning in and joining us. I like to do a Bible study with you guys real quick. And I want to encourage you, when you see the Christmas lights, think about the fact we're all celebrating Jesus' birthday. Jesus is a hard word to say. Jesus' birthday. Anyways, he was born. Emmanuel means God with us. And you're going to hear lots of Christmas stories, the beautiful birth of Jesus and Christ to the Virgin Mary. I believe in my heart that's all totally true, and he has paid for our sins. That is the gift of Christmas. Truly, at the end of the day, that's the gift of Christmas. But this week I was working on the plans, and my plans falling apart on these cars. And I was thinking about it, like, how do you pull that together, right? If you're going to make all the plans, well, how does that all kind of roll together? And I was reading in the book of James, which is Jesus' brother. I said Jesus's again. It's hard to say Jesus's brother James, that actually got martyred and killed. But he was writing in James 5. I'll get right there. I am almost there. Stay with me, kids. Oh, yeah, James 4. James 4:13. Now listen, you who say tomorrow or today, I will go to this city and I'll spend time there and I will carry out business and I'll make some money. Why do you, who do not even know what will happen tomorrow, what is your life? You are just a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if it's the Lord's will, we'll do this or we'll do that. My point in that whole thing is, God's got a great plan for your life. He came and paid for the price of your sins by dying on the cross and being resurrected again. That's Easter, right, by the way? And I'm just going to encourage you to look at life with a little bit different eyes. Get yourself a Bible. If you need a Bible, I got like 10 extras and I'll ship it to you for free. Merry Christmas. Thanks for tuning in. And do the best you can to make a good plan. But sometimes God might take you a different direction. Be open to that because it's a much better destination than you could ever get to yourself. All right, peace out. See you next week.
That was good.